Hello everyone, Professor D here. This week we'll talk about the second part of mental health, which involves coping mechanisms and available options of treatment. Just as a review, I want to make sure that we understand that coping mechanisms are ways that we really want to have active in our lives of how to regularly deal with the stressors that are going to occur. For some people, it's becoming more organized. For others, it's allowing themselves to make a mistake once in a while and not being so hypercritical of him or herself. For others, it's finding ways to sort of release that stress through meditation or yoga, exercise, kickboxing, biking, something that you find enjoyment in, and is also a way to creatively and physically get out that excess sort of stress and energy. Also, there's seeking professional help in psychotherapy and in discussing with someone those emotions and maybe helping them investigate with you why. That's always really important, especially with mental health and psychological conditions, is there something other than genetics or a chemical imbalance that created this? Is there something that happened to you and you haven't been able to manifest a proper coping mechanism? And can they walk with you through these thoughts and these processes and through your history and find a way to better your perspective? And that's really important to realize too, is someone's perspective or outlook on something can be different from within individual or between individuals, as well as within yourself throughout your lifespan. We all know those individuals that seem like they're going through a lot of things, but they don't act stressed at all because they're coping very well with it. Others seem to stress out at a lot of things, and is there a happy medium in there for people that they can change within themselves and look at things a little bit differently and not be so hypercritical and constantly focus on failure as a flaw instead of seeing it as failure as an opportunity to grow or to improve. Medication, certainly, for those especially when there is a chemical imbalance that needs to have some assistance in regulating. Psychiatry would be that aspect. So psychology is more of cognitive therapy and discussing. Psychiatry can involve that as well, but psychiatrists are medical doctors that are also licensed to prescribe medications if that needs to be the case. So it's important to understand a subtle distinction between those two professions as well, because they're available for different types of conditions. One of the things I'd like to briefly discuss, and we will be discussing more in this week's discussion forum, is humor. This is something that not all, but most people find humor in something. And it's a way for us to sort of laugh at life. Maybe we can laugh at a situation, and that makes it a little less real, a little less stressful for us. And that can be really a strong coping mechanism for some people, is to find some humor in things. This increases our cardiovascular and respiratory rates, but also improves our hormone regulation and increases endorphins. So you get that kind of a high rush, when you're having a good time laughing about something. The caution, however, is between individuals, and we've all experienced this, I'm sure, is we don't always find the same things funny as our friends or our family or other people. And we have to realize that if someone becomes offended by a particular thing that we thought was funny, or if a comedian makes a joke that someone's offended by, it could have a negative impact on someone's overall wellness. So we want to realize that there is a potential downside to humor if placed in the wrong circumstance. So you really want to think about something before you tell a joke to somebody or you post something that you think is funny on social media. You want to think of your audience, and will everyone find this funny? Also, in this week's discussion forum, when I ask you to post something that you find funny, please think about that. Is there any possibility somebody could be severely offended by this and it would actually harm their wellness as opposed to benefit? Maybe find something else if you're wondering. If you're wondering that I'm not sure, you're best off to find something else to post for the week, because if there is something deemed offensive or someone finds it offensive, I will have to remove it and deduct points. So please be confident that it's funny and that it's not derogatory to any particular group of individuals, and it's really just talking about circumstances or something along those lines that we can all relate to and find humor in. Having a positive attitude or outlook certainly has some benefits. It improves, as we talked about, better coping, and you can laugh things off a little bit more easily, perhaps, and you're able to take on more of those tasks and stressors of our daily lives a little more readily without it taking so much of an emotional toll on you. So looking for humor in bad situations is one way, and also looking for the positive in between the negatives. There might be many negative things happening, but can you still find a positive? Are you able to grow from the situation? Were you able to meet someone that you can share some laughs with? In that situation. For instance, those individuals that might be going through cancer treatment, it can be really a negative time, but maybe they're making a great friend in the therapy rooms with somebody that they're going to be able to share and enjoy life with there on out. So there could be there's often that silver lining that we say in even the bad situations. So when you can look for that, that can be really helpful in changing your outlook and your perspective so that you don't feel as stressed or overwhelmed in that particular situation that you're in. I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing you all in the discussion forum this week.